Well, hello. I am entering the broadcast studio so that I can tell you this most astonishing and beautiful, hi, beautiful story. Sorry for the delay. I had to get all my stuff together. So much stuff. It's me, Marilyn Price, telling you a story about an empty pot. So, how can we have so much stuff if it's an empty pot? It's a good question. I love when you have good questions. This is a story written by a woman that is called Demi, but that wasn't her name. Her name was Charlotte Hunt, and still is actually. She was born in Massachusetts, became quite a famous author. She wrote over 300 books, and this one, The Empty Pot, is probably her most famous. Speaking of most famous, Charlotte Hunt came, called Demi, and why, you might say. It's a great kind of odd name. Apparently, they called her that because she was half the size of her sister. She did eventually grow and be quite the size, and I guess her sister was probably older anyway. But at any event, Demi, as she was called, was the great granddaughter of a very famous artist named Morris Hunt. And then she was also the great great niece of a famous architect. So she was quite well known to be artistic, and she became exactly that. The story we are about to hear and tell together, The Empty Pot, not only did she write, but she illustrated. And I'm going to show you just a little bit of her artwork because, as it is told in the Chinese tradition, it is exquisite. Such a pretty word. You like that word? Exquisite. Very, very detailed and very fine. So I'm going to go to one of my favorite pages and show you how beautifully illustrated it is, and the hopes that you may find this book. Chinese ink drawings are very well known, and I'm going to show you one other thing before we move into the characters of our story and the equipment we need to tell it. I'm going to show you a book that we have done before, but I found translated into Chinese, and that is a story called It's Mine. It's about three frogs that are always arguing. So I'm going to try to take all this stuff and not make it. I didn't do it. I dropped it anyway. So let's put this down here. Ready? Oh, I don't like to get anything in the way of our storytelling. So this is the book by Leo Leone. We're not telling today, and I wanted you to see it so you could see what I said before about how beautiful the Chinese language is artistically. So you know that this is called It's Mine, as you can read, right? It's mine, Chinese, in English, right? But then they decided to translate this into Chinese. So let me hold up the characters. I don't want to make any disparaging remarks about our beautiful language because I can read that. I cannot read the Chinese, but basically, it says the same exact thing. It's mine. And look at the lettering on this book. Look at that, how pretty it is. Every single character means something. Love that? I love that. So it's mine in Chinese. And if you even look at, you could kind of read along in English and look at the pictures and know what it's talking about. You can also know, as is our other book, by the expression on that frog's face. Does he look happy? No. So I highly recommend any of these books for you. I'm going to put this away in my on the floor, soon to be picked up library. See you in a minute. That was quick, right? So our story today is about a lovely boy named Ping who works very hard and the emperor of where he lives. And it is filled with beautiful flowers because not only does Ping love flowers and garden, the emperor does as well. So we're going to put these together. So you're probably wondering what that is over there, my flower that's sticking up. So we're going to use lots of flowers. This is one that sits on the floor in my, pretty cool, huh? It's like a little sculpture. So we're going to use that in our story. What I did to get ready for you today was to take things that I had that were given to me that had flowers on them, gather them all together, and then I made some. So here was one little pot that my grandson Avery made me for Mother's Day, which, if you're watching this today, would be in 2 days. So he made this for me because he decided that grandmother and mother should both get flowers. How cool is that? So I've been saving this for, it's 11 years old. It's lasted quite well. So that's going to be in our story. And then I just looked all over the house and I found plates with flowers that could be used in our story. And then I found this wonderful card I got just the other day. It says for you, so I'm going to give it to you. When you open it up, oh, flowers growing out of my card. How magical is that? So I am going to put it back so it can make a little magic later. And then I got this as well. Thank you very much. My gift card. They'll be in my story, our story as well. And then these are the kinds of things I made when I was a kid. And I'm going to take these. This is very appropriate around this season of the year when the allergies are coming. You can take 1 Kleenex and 2 Kleenexes, and you can even use them after you make your flour. So what we used to do was we would take these, or napkins, but I kind of like tissues better. Just if you scrunch it up on the bottom, a flower, and then if you take a pipe cleaner, let's see. Oh, here's one. Yeah, I think I like this one better. What do you think? Yeah, I like it too. And you just wrap it around here. If you don't have a pipe cleaner, you know it works. Rubber band. If you don't have a rubber band, you know it works. A piece of thread. But pipe cleaners, as you know, maybe don't know, I love pipe cleaners. And it immediately is all together. And if you happen to have a marker, I have this one. It's not the most lovely, but what you can do is the minute you put marker, especially, that you will get yourself an elegant flower. And who knows? Why can't we have a flower? Flowers come in all different colors. And you can even put all down in here in the very center of the flower. So the bees can come by and get something to pollinate. All right, flowers out of napkins. And then, oh, this stuff here is so cool. This is called crepe paper, C-R-E-P-E, and it stretches and turns. And I got so much of this, and I had the best time last night. I just cut and cut and cut, and I stretched and I pulled, and I got flowers. So you can do the same thing. You can do this with tissue paper too if you happen to have some. And maybe if you've had a birthday or a holiday and somebody gave you presents, you might have some of that paper too. Because the more flowers we have in this lovely world, the happier we will be. So if you don't have, look at that. It's great paper. You take a bunch of different colors too. Just stretch and stretch and stretch. Sort of like yoga, right? And then you take another one of these pipe cleaners. And you pull and pull and pull and pull. And you have a stem for your flower to put in your pot. Speaking of which, according to the title of our story, is an empty pot. Also, this works out really well too. So let me tell you what we're going to do here. We're going to put all the flowers away because we don't need them yet. Put them right in front of me so I will be able to grab them one by one. And, oh, look at this one. I made this one last night too. Pretty lovely, huh? Maybe I should wear it here. Oh, need it for my story. All right, let's see, what do I have? I have exactly everything I need except the hero of our story. Put you over here so I can grab you too. Now, I love these. These are called fans. Not like you and me, because we like things. That's a different kind of fan. This is a Chinese fan. What is so beautiful about it is it because it is also painted with flowers. And on the other side of this pen, I made the hero of our story, whose name is Ping. Now, I made a little hat for Ping. What do you think? Okay, this is Ping. He loves flowers. And the emperor, who also loves flowers, but is a little older than Ping. And this is how our story goes. And I thank you for coming. Oh, I am so sorry. I forgot one thing. I forgot the pot. That's over here. And just one other little thing you might have to dig the soil. But could we make puppets out of these? Of course we can. Could we make puppets out of anything as long as it belongs to us? Oh, or has permission. So I have a whole bunch of these funny shovels. I'd tell you why, but I don't remember. Okay, here's a couple of eyes to make this a person. Here he is. Could be one of the other boys who lives in town, because this is definitely a story about boys, and you'll find out in a minute. Although I think we could easily substitute. But when it was written, it was about boys. Put my characters over here. And I want you to look around and see what else you might make a puppet out of in the gardening world. Maybe you have a plastic toy rake that you're not using anymore after you've helped, it's not fall anymore. So the leaves may all have been picked up. This is an empty pot. And this is Ping. And this is the emperor. And so our story begins. A long time ago in China, there was a boy named Ping who loved flowers. Anything he planted burst into bloom. Up came flowers and bushes and even big fruit trees, as if by magic. Everyone in the kingdom loved flowers. They planted them everywhere, and the air smelled like perfume. The emperor loved birds and animals, but flowers most of all, and he tended his own garden every day. But the emperor was very old, and he needed to choose a successor to the throne. Who would his successor be? And how would the emperor choose? Because the emperor loved flowers so much, he decided to let the flowers choose. The next day, a proclamation was issued. All the children in the land were to come to the palace. There they would be given special flower seeds by the emperor. Whoever can show me their best in a year's time will succeed me to the throne. This news created great excitement. Throughout the land, children from all over the country swarmed to the palace to get their flower seeds. All the parents wanted their children to be chosen emperor, and all the children hoped they would be chosen too. When Ping received his seed from the emperor, he was the happiest child of all. He was sure he would grow the most beautiful flowers. Ping filled a flower pot with rich soil. He planted the seed in it very carefully. He watered it every day. He could not wait to see it sprout, grow, and blossom into a beautiful flower. Day after day passed, and Ping was very worried because nothing grew in his pot. He put new soil in a bigger pot. Then he transferred the seed into the rich black soil. Another 2 months passed, and he waited and waited, and still nothing happened. By and by, the whole year passed. Spring came, and all the children put on their best clothes and picked up their pots and went to the palace, hoping to be chosen. Ping was ashamed of his empty pot. He thought the other children would laugh at him because for once he couldn't grow a flower. His clever friend ran by, holding a beautiful flower. Ping, he said, "You're not really going to see the emperor with that empty pot, are you?" "I've grown lots more flowers that are better than yours," said Ping. "It's just this seed that won't grow." Now Ping's father overheard this, and he said, "You did your best, and your best is good enough to present to the emperor." Holding the empty pot in his hands, Ping went straight away to the palace. The emperor was looking at all the flowers, and they were beautiful, but he was frowning, and he did not say a word. Finally, he came to Ping. Ping hung his head in shame, expecting to be punished. The emperor asked him, "Why did you bring an empty pot?" Ping started to cry and replied, "I planted the seed you gave me, and I watered it every day, but it didn't sprout. I put it in a bigger pot with better soil, but it still didn't sprout. I tended it all year long, but nothing grew. So today I had to bring an empty pot without a flower. It was the best I could do." When the emperor heard these words, a smile slowly spread over his face. He put his arms around Ping, and then he exclaimed to one and all, "I have found him. I have found the one person worthy of being emperor." And he looked at all the other children, and he said to them, "Where you got your seeds from, I do not know, for the seeds I gave you had all been cooked, so it was impossible for any of them to grow. I admire Ping's great courage to appear before me with the empty truth, and now I reward him with my entire kingdom and make him the emperor of all the land." Honesty and truth, that's what rewards us all. And that is the story of Ping, who, though he had an empty pot, had a full heart, and the emperor, who was wise and knew what leadership should be, he knew who to give his kingdom to. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful day filled with flowers and sunshine, even if you can't see it, even if your day is cloudy. I hope that you have a wonderful day, a day full of flowers, a day full of making things out of anything you see as long as it belongs to you. And that, my friends, is the truth. Have a lovely day, a blessed day, a day filled with beauty.